And it's really inspiring to kind of embody somebody like that, and it's kind of scary, but
Obviously, this is somebody that the masses don't know a lot about.
No.
So when you're reading the script and you're talking to the family, what was the most surprising thing that you learned about him?
I just everything. I mean, honestly, he was one of those people that you don't think is possible, that literally nothing will stop him. I mean, not millions of dollars of debt, not having hits put out of him by the mob, nothing, and not everybody else not believing in him. And it's really inspiring to kind of embody somebody like that, and it's kind of scary, but that was kind of the thing that I really loved and was inspired the most by him.
What was it like to bring the young version of Neil to life?
It was great. Looking at what Jeremy did with the character, and looking at his mannerisms and all of his things that he was doing, it was good to be able to like sort of embody that and try and do my best to portray that myself. And so that was great.
Do you have any questions for the family? Because obviously, I love it when the family is involved with the biopic. It doesn't always happen. So what was like the main thing you wanted to ask about what you were getting right?
I don't know. I guess I wanted to make sure I was, obviously doing my best to be accurate, with everything. But I guess I wanted to be able to really make this story as perfect as it can be, And I think it really turned out really, really well.
What excited you most about this project? Why did you want to say yes?
This music is the music of my youth. Like I danced and sang and did many other things to this soundtrack when I was a teenager. So the fact that someone was making a film about the man who invented it all was that. And then also, I love the clothes and the accent of the guy I'm playing had that kind of 1930s Brooklyn accent, which is really just to get your mouth around is gorgeous. And then Tim. Like, the film's about a man who had incredible chutzpah and just such charisma that he could persuade anyone to do anything. Well, the apple didn't fall very far from the tree. His son has the same gift of the gab, and he's just a man you want to follow.
What is your preparation like for playing a real-life person? Do you ever get intimidated? Was there a specific question you had to ask first to Tim?
Yeah, well, I've done it quite a few times. In fact, I just did it again. And you meet all the relatives. In this instance, the relatives are actually making the film, so they have a lot of records. And then you look at the circumstances and you go, well, that's what they told me about him, but what must have been like for him? They don't really know. None of us really know what goes on inside someone else's head and heart. We only see what we see. So you build a character from the inside out. I'm like, well, okay, this is a guy who kept losing, and he gambled all their money away. Every time they got money, he lost on the horses, but he kept on thinking he was about to win. He kept on thinking he was about to score the big hit. But he must have known when he looked in the mirror that just wasn't the case. It hadn't been for decades. So you build something that feels true to you, and then if the director thinks it stinks, he tells you.
What is it like taking on an icon like Gene Simmons, and what went into your preparation? Was it watching things about him? Was it actually talking to him? What was it?
Yeah, I got to talk to a lot of people who knew him and still know him and grew up with him, and I was very helped out by Cameron Crowe, a friend of mine, who will also be somewhere around here.
Casual Cameron.
I know. I just did Almost Famous, the musical on Broadway, and he's helped me out a lot with that. And then the Neil Bogart family, Tim Bogart, Brad, all of them have such great history with them. So just ask as many questions as I could and trying to get it down.
I love the end credits when you get to do the tongue thing. Like I feel like when you dress like that, that must be like the most iconic thing that you get to do.
Oh yeah.
Did you walk around doing that?
Oh, you feel like a superhero. I mean, you're towering over everyone like 2 feet, and then you get to rock out in a whole bunch of leather and a big wig, and it felt pretty good. Yeah.
I love this movie. We're learning about people that we might not have known about and the things that they did. What was your favorite thing you learned from this movie?
I mean, I learned, even though Gene Simmons is very well known, less people know that he doesn't drink or smoke or do any drugs. And I thought that was very interesting to, because you hear so much about the rock star lifestyle, and he was just focused on the music, focused on having fun,
What was it like being a part of this movie?
It was really honoring getting to play the younger version of the director, Tim. And, since it's based on a true story, it's an honor to play Tim because it's true and it's actually his memories. So it's just really a pleasure.
What was it like getting to ask him questions? What did you want to know about how to play him? Were you watching the way he walks, the way he talks?
I mean, I would watch his personality, kind of how he acts towards people, and, basically stuff like that.
So, what happens next?
You do.